What's up?
How's it going? Happy Mabon.
Happy Mabon.
What's going on in your lives?
Well, in my first life, I don't know. I don't know. You said lives and it threw me off.
How do you know this is your first life? How do you know it's not like your 12th?
Well, I heard a quote the other day that was like, I've lived 1,000 lives, and I don't know, like in this one lifetime, it feels like I've lived 1,000 lives. Something like that. And I'm like, I get it, because like, if you knew me, I'd say 5 years ago.
Yes, or say even 5 years ago.
You don't know me now.
Yeah.
You don't know who I am.
This version of her by far is the best version she's had.
She's still depressed.
But she's still the best
version.
version.
And I'm working on it. Like,
this is Brittany's version.
Right, Brittany's version. But yeah, before I would have just dealt with it and just kept on. But I'm actually, like, in therapy, medicated.
5 years ago, Brittany would have dealt with it quietly and suffered in silence.
Yeah, I would have been, like, crying on my bathroom floor.
But would have been low-key angry all the time. And
I'm still angry a lot. I haven't dealt with that in therapy yet, but...
But you don't tend to show it in the ways that you used to.
Right.
But this version is by far my favorite.
Yeah, if you ask Daniel,
Daniel doesn't know the previous
versions. He'd be like, he's like, you do have a lot of rage in there. And I'm like, yeah, I know. But somehow, because I also saw it was another TikTok I saw, and it was another one of those that's like, oh, you should really, like, let your inner rage out, and then it pops up, not for you. This is not for you. And I'm like, how many of those do I relate to? All of them.
Right.
Because how many of them come up on my For You page that are like, this is not for you.
You know what also you relate to? All those with the two guys from, what is that show?
Top Gear.
Yes.
It's Jeremy Clarkson and, on the little one. What's it? Richard. I don't remember.
Just hysterically laughing.
Yeah, because I send you as many as I send to Allie, because some of them are like me and my sister.
Yeah.
See how many I've sent to her.
We relate to a lot of those.
Yeah, too many.
It's quite funny.
I can't wait till Allie watches all the TikToks I've sent her.
Get on it, Allie.
This one, me and my sister getting kicked out of Jeepers Creepers' truck because I asked why the transmission keeps clicking, and she asked why he wears that big ass coat when it's 100 degrees outside. Another one, when you and your sister have some drinks and reminisce about your fucked up childhood and all the trauma it's caused in your adult life, but can now laugh till you cry at all the survival tactics you used to make it through life, because that shit was epic.
She's literally going through her messages right now.
Oh, and then, because Allie was a Twilight girly, I sent her one that was like Emmett and Jasper in the forest listening to Edward say, "This is the skin of a killer, Bella."
Yes, I've seen that one. Lord. So, we're well into spooky season. I mean, it's spooky season for us anyway.
Yeah. It's always spooky season around
Spooky
here.
season starts in my house. Like, serious spooky season starts in my house as school starting. I had already been to 2 stores in search of Halloween decor by the first part of August.
I went to Spirit Halloween. I'm disappointed in the Haunted Mansion section. It's like 2 end caps.
Yeah.
And it's expensive.
It is.
Because I want, like, the tapestry of the stretching room paintings.
Yeah.
But it's like $35.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can get this on Temu for $21.
I bought a bunch of little skeleton animals. They're so cute to add to my collection. with my dragons that stay out year round.
Yeah.
I also, TJ saw a little thing that it's like, I guess you like stick it in a corner next to the door and it says, you say witch like it's a bad thing. We got that. I got a little candle that it's like a battery operated candle, but it's got like markings and stuff on it. It kind of reminds me of like Salem. Excuse me. My allergies are awful right now.
Yeah, it's been really bad since it's been like 1,000 degrees outside.
Yes, we were bitching about it being hot. Like the last time we recorded, that held nothing to what it is right now. It has been bad enough this week alone. They canceled soccer practices because of the heat index.
Yeah.
We canceled one of our baseball practices because of the heat index, and opening day of soccer was supposed to be today, and they canceled it because of the heat index.
Yeah.
However, I was sitting outside this morning with Loki, and I was like, we could have done this.
Yeah.
It wasn't as bad as what I think it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
We also weren't supposed to get storms
yeah, I was
today.
going to say, it also wasn't supposed to storm today, and it definitely did something.
Yeah. But, so, this week, we were talking about Mabon. It's got many ways to pronounce it. It's Mabon, 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 Mabon.
I like Mabon.
Right. It's the way I spelled it was Mayvhon.
A little Frenchy French.
Yeah. It's also known as the autumnal equinox, fall equinox, September equinox, harvest tide, harvest home, harvest festival, wine harvest, feast of Avalon, Albin Elfid, and some other names that I'm not going to try to pronounce. But before I delve into what Mabon is and how we celebrate it and all that, I just wanted to share this little section from a website that I found from seawitchbotanicals.com. I just thought it was beautiful, and it made me quite excited for fall. I love fall. The tobacco barns have already started burning.
The one that I passed on my way home, like the closest to the road that I passed on the way home.
Yes, it was going last weekend, and when we passed it, and I rolled down all the windows even though it was 100 degrees. Or I rolled down my window even though it was 100 degrees. It was fantastic.
I don't smoke anymore, but I do love the smell of burning tobacco.
Yeah, you don't have to be a smoker to appreciate the smell of the burning tobacco.
I feel like I appreciated it more when I was a smoker.
Because you knew that was something that you partook in?
Yeah.
No, you ain't got to be a smoker to appreciate it.
No. I want a good candle that smells like that. Like, it's got to actually smell like that, though.
Right. I feel like those fake ones are kind of
I feel like it's a hard scent to replicate.
What would be cool is if I could get, like, somebody that has these tobacco barns just give me, like, the little tie, like, the little stem off of what they burn, just to hang that in my car. Yeah. And your car smell like it all the time. Mm. But anyway, this little snippet that I took from seawitchbotanicals.com says, soon the mornings will be chilly and wet. Soon the bees will tire and the bucks will shed the velvet from their antlers. Soon the apples will be ripe for cider. The leaves will change colors while you aren't looking. Then release them to flutter through the streets like schools of brilliant koi. In the distance there will be chimney smoke. In your hands a hot mug of something steamy. The long days of summer have been waning as the hours of light and dark return to equilibrium. By late September, the balance will tip, and we will be heading into the dark half of the year, taking with us all that we have nurtured into fruition under the sun. I just liked the way that sounded, the way that was worded.
Yeah.
And it made me real excited for fall.
That.
So, let's get into it. What is Mabon? When do we celebrate? And how do we celebrate? This year, for us, Brittany, geography, in the northern hemisphere, which is where we are celebrating it.
Why you gotta be so? You ain't gotta be like that.
We celebrate it September 21st through the 29th. This is a modern pagan celebration named in the 1970s by Aidan Kelly that surrounds the autumnal, that's a hard word for me, equinox. It is the second of 3 harvest festivals. It's a time for celebration and reflection. I got a tickle in my throat, I'm sorry. Mabon means great sun, like S-O-N, and it stands in reference to the Welsh mythological character Mabon ap Modron, who was an excellent hunter, possessing a nimble horse and a magnificent hound. When he was only 3 nights old, he was kidnapped from his mother, Modron, which means great mother, who was the earth's great goddess, which resulted in the light hiding. Later, he was rescued by King Arthur. In other legends, he was rescued by the blackbird, the stag, the owl, the eagle, and the salmon. Or salmon.
Salmon.
I say salmon. Mythologically speaking, Mabon also portrays the harvest's masculine figure. With this said, he is the masculine equivalent of Persephone, making Modron a resemblance of Demeter. This holiday is inspired by the harvest festivals of numerous cultures weaved into history, like the week-long Greek festival Eleusinian Mysteries that was centered around the goddess of grain and harvest, Demeter, and the abduction of her daughter Persephone. This tale basically explains why we have seasons. In British folklore, Mabon marks the beginning of the deer hunting season. And continuing the storyline that we've been following, the courting, the marriage, now is the time that commemorates the goddess's passage into the underworld. This is seen through the decay of nature's spirit and winter's entrance as a result of her absence. Traditionally, this is a celebration of the second harvest, indicating the culmination of the year's hard work and the community's capacity to survive the cold months. It's a time for gratitude, not just for the bounty of the harvest, but for all the sacrifices made for survival along the way. It is both celebratory and solemn, intrinsically linked with the concept of death, the inevitability of change, and the necessity of letting go. At this point, night and day are perfectly balanced. Oftentimes across the British Isles and in Ireland, the final sheaf is cut and braided into the likeness of a woman and wrapped in a gown decorated in spring-themed ribbons and hung from a pole as a phallic fertility symbol. In Scotland, this final sheaf is referred to as the maiden, and it must be cut by the eldest female present at the ceremony. It was known as the maiden or hag in the Highlands, just as the Celtic goddess typically has 2 faces, life and death. Upon the culmination of the harvest, everyone gathered for the celebration with the maiden feast, where toast was offered, saying, "Here's to the one who assisted us with the harvest," which is referring to the adorned sheaf. After that, the sheaf would be hung in the farmhouse for good luck in the winter, or it would be plowed into the ground for the following year. And I'm saying sheaf, S-H-E-A-F, not sheep. Yeah. I realized as I was going through that it sounded like I may have said sheep.
Gotcha.
But I'm not. Okay, so let's get to the part where we talk about how we can go about celebrating. First, it's all about the harvest. Whether literally or figuratively, reap what you've sown. Gather what's grown in your garden, or just simply take inventory of all your accomplishments of the year. Think about how hard you've worked, how much you've grown or progressed, what sacrifices you have made to get here, and how they have paid off. Take pride in all that you have done. You can also make use of someone else's harvest, with permission, of course. Find your nearest pumpkin patch, corn maze, orchard, farmer's market, whatever. Make it a whole day's adventure. End it with a hot mug of apple cider, or, because basic white girl, a good pumpkin spice latte.
Ugh.
While watching, those just came out. Starbucks just released them.
Released theirs.
Dunkin's been having them for a couple weeks.
They released theirs before, but I don't like
for it.
pumpkin flavored
Oh, I
things
do.
except for pumpkin pie and pumpkin bread.
But anyway, end it with a hot mug of apple cider or a good PSL while watching the sunset over the changing flora. But remember, you, like the nature around you, are ever changing as well. Use this time to reflect on how you can better balance your life. With the days and nights being equal, this should be a good reminder of how important balance should be in your life. Next up, we want to express gratitude. Give thanks, if you will. Mabon is known as the pagan Thanksgiving. This is the time of year where farmers would be able to see exactly how well their farms did throughout the year and help them determine how comfortably the family will be able to live through the winter. Here they would give thanks to all those who have helped them along the way. So, be liberal with your gratitude. Remember all of those who have supported and helped you, the land that provided for you, and the home that kept you safe. Now that we have harvested all the things and that we've worked so hard for, we want to share that bounty. Be generous with it. It doesn't necessarily have to be something physical, but make sure that you share something with someone or something. Now, as we're doing all these things, we also need to keep in mind that we still need to prepare for the upcoming winter months. This holiday begins the preparations for how we will live through the cold. If you have a farm, you're tending to livestock, baling hay, harvesting the last of the late summer crops. If you don't have a farm, you still have to prepare. Your lifestyle, of course, changes with the season change. You're not going to go outside and enjoy nature as much. Seasonal depression may take hold, as it does for some, does for me. I'm not quite as happy when I can't get outside as much when I'm stuck at home.
I don't think you're like a winter girly.
No, I'm not. I hate winter.
Ooh, I love winter.
I hate it when it snows. I can't go anywhere. I get anxious. I work from home, so it's like my 4 walls are closing in.
Yeah.
I hate it when it snows. It's fun for a day for us to be able to play in it.
Yeah.
But after that, get gone. Where was I at? Prepare yourself for all of that by thinking about how you can make the best of the situation. Cleanse your space, declutter, get organized. That way, later on, when it's gross outside, you can just sit back and enjoy the space that you created and be glad that you already took care of all that would normally be looming over you and driving you crazy. Make sure, though, that in your preparation, you're spending time with loved ones. Once the warmer weather closes up shop, it's quite normal for you to go longer periods of time without seeing those that you may have been spending the most time with during the summer. Summer is a time for cookouts and camping, parties, swimming, all things together. Winter months are not quite as easy to get out and go get together with other people. Definitely not outside. It's too cold for that shit. Now, I like to talk about herbs and crystals and such that are associated with these holidays, but I wanted to make sure I mentioned that Mabon season is a big deal for herbalists. Additionally, if the full moon coincides with the autumn equinox, the plant's therapeutic properties are at their highest. If it falls around a new moon, the medicinal benefits of root and leaf harvesting are at their highest. So herbalists prefer to collect medicinal plants and prepare herbal medications on a lunar calendar basis. For flowers, leaves, and seeds, a full moon is the optimal. This makes a great time to start working with and trying new things with herbal remedies. I have read about things such as fire cedar, which is a sweet vinegar mixture that is generally used to sustain immune systems during the months that we need it the most. It can be made from ginger, horseradish, roots, herbs, and spices like onion, garlic, habanero, pepper, powdered turmeric, and fruits like lemon, orange, and raw apple cider vinegar. It also recommends that you incorporate therapeutic plants into your cooking. Turmeric and ginger roots and rhizomes help us stay warm and grounded. Nutmeg, allspice, and cinnamon aid with well-being during these cold times. Foragers are also fond of this time of year, as mushrooms such as reishi, lion's mane, and wild shiitake are good for boosting your immune system and are flourishing. Seasonal colors such as orange, red, yellow, gold, and brown are used to decorate altars. They are also adorned with fruits and berries like apples, pears, rose hips, elderberries, and blackberries. I wanted to make special mention of pomegranates, though. These represent what?
This cat just farted.
Is that what that noise was?
That's what that noise was.
Pomegranates represent the fruit of death that was handed to Persephone by Hades. Plants that are highly regarded in autumn. Did you hear that? Autumn. Are burdock, dandelion, butterfly weed, angelica, and licorice. These roots are the strongest during this time, and they are ready to sustain through the winter. This is the perfect time to look at them for medicinal properties that they hold. Sage, rose hips, marigold, yarrow, honeysuckle constitute important elements of herbal origin to feel gratitude and thankfulness toward the goddess for her bounty and join the harvest delights. Other edible symbols of the season are several varieties of gourds and melons. If you're into spell work, this is the perfect time for protection and security work, as well as self-confidence, prosperity, harmony, and balance. If you struggle with seasonal depression, set intentions for your inner peace and strength. You could create it and charge a talisman for this purpose to keep on you for the next couple of seasons. I like Mabon.
Yeah. Is that all you have?
That's it.
Well, shit. So I've got, as usual, the food aspect of Mabon. The fall equinox initiates the fruitful season of autumn, and this is an excellent time to share nature's plenty in canned, cooked, and fermented forms with your friends and loved ones. The season is plentiful with apples, pumpkins, squash, grapes, and grains, just to name a few. Firstly, I have a recipe for some autumn incense. So you will need a tablespoon of apple peel or dried apple, a half tablespoon lavender flowers, a half tablespoon rose petals, I'm saying tablespoon, that's all teaspoon, disregard what I just said. They're all teaspoon. 1 teaspoon powdered cinnamon and 2 teaspoons powdered myrrh resin, wherever you can get that. You grind up the herbs with a mortar and pestle or in a clean coffee grinder until it becomes a fine powder. Combine all of your ingredients in a bowl, transfer the blend to an airtight container to store, and when ready to use, place a pinch of incense blend on a lit charcoal disc, like what we used to use for hookah. Set atop a heat-safe surface to release cleansing smoke.
Hookah was back in the day.
I know.
We were so serious about but you had your own hookah too, didn't you?
Yeah, I had a little pink one. And I had all the little flavored
molasses, because we didn't get tobacco.
Yeah.
That was a throwback. That was some memories. I forgot all about that.
We used to go to hookah bars.
Yeah, those were good times.
Yeah, I almost got burnt once because the man would come around
with
the little thing
with
and
the little coals.
Refill your coal bucket. And it was like a cast iron bucket of hot coal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I felt the heat brush past my face once, and I was like,
So question, you mentioned putting all that in a coffee grinder. Would you be able to use like a spicy grinder too?
Well, it wants it to become a fine powder.
So no.
So probably not.
Not unless you got one of those like...
Unless you've got ones like... Well, because they'll grind them up to like... I don't know. I guess there's different ones. But, like, most of the fine powder comes out in the catch, in the keef.
Yeah.
So.
You could use, like, a food processor, too.
Yeah, you could use a food processor. Just make sure it's clean.
Yeah.
We don't want, like, chicken residue or something in your incense. Ugh, thinking about that. I can't believe she farted so loud.
I'm not convinced it was her.
What
I feel like it was you.
It wasn't me. Because I literally, like, turned around and was like... Thank you.
She's asleep too, is what makes it great.
She's covering her nose. It must be stinky. So some things to eat during Mabon. Apple crumble. The one dominating symbol of fall in North America is apples, and nothing ushers in fall into your home quite like a sweet, warm, well-baked apple crisp.
I love apple crisp, apple crumble, apple pie, cinnamon apples.
Yeah. Sweet potato mash with just 45 to 50 minutes, just almost an hour, at 400 degrees in the oven. This might just be the easiest recipe I'll ever suggest to you. Because after it's done in the oven, all you have to do is mash it. If you want to add some pizzazz, you can add some maple syrup and butter.
Some cinnamon.
Yeah. Pumpkin seeds. You can snatch up some pumpkin from your local grocery store, or if you do pumpkin patches with your kids, but let your kids carve those pumpkins, but keep the seeds. They are fantastic to roast with a little bit of butter. You can also dress them up with whatever seasoning your heart desires, but the most common are with salt, garlic powder, some cayenne pepper, seasoning salt, or Cajun seasoning.
I have done this on several occasions.
Yeah.
I am very partial to the cinnamon sugar ones. They are so good.
I can see that. A chai tea. It isn't traditionally part of neo-pagan traditions, but the typical recipe for spiced chai tea does include many of the traditional fall equinox ingredients like cinnamon, ginger, and cloves.
Have you ever tried chai tea?
I've had a chai latte.
I've never tried it.
I had an iced chai latte once.
It good?
It was okay.
Does it taste like dirt?
It tastes like the milk from after you eat Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Yeah. It's cinnamony.
I've heard, like, I'm in like a group on Facebook that's like Starbucks.
Unless I'm thinking of something else, but I don't think I am.
I might have to try it.
I got mine from Dunkin', but
She did.
I've never had like a chai tea. Like I've never had that, but I've had an iced chai latte and it was pretty good. Ground turkey meatballs. It may not be practical for practitioners to roast an entire bird for Mabon, but ground turkey meatballs freeze well and can be made ahead of time and warmed up on Mabon, which is helpful, particularly if Mabon falls on a weeknight. I guess you could. I mean, you don't. Do you necessarily have to use turkey? I don't know. I didn't look into it that far. Green beans. If you have already canned some green beans, Mabon would be the perfect time to break your first seal. But if you either grow your own or live in an area where you can get them fresh at the farmer's market, try frying them up with garlic, butter, and a sprinkle of red pepper flakes.
That does sound good.
It does. Some spiced cookies. Besides apples and pumpkins, nothing feels more like fall than spice cookies. They also make a lovely addition to a group ritual as an alternative to the cake in the cakes and ale portion of the Mabon ceremony. Corn on the cob.
It's corn! A big lump with nuts.
I watched a TikTok of a teacher who had a student, like, this little group of students, like, all of a sudden become, like, obsessed with corn.
Yes!
And it's still, like, he's had, like...
It's been, like, years and years.
Yeah, the lady at the checkout counter.
I think I sent that to you.
Did you?
Yes.
No, I don't know.
He's a teacher. I think he has autism.
I don't know.
But he just rambles and rambles. I love him.
Yeah. So, as we discovered during the Lunasa episode, I really love corn on the cob.
Okay.
So much so that right after we recorded the episode, I went out and bought some corn on the cob.
Nice.
And lastly, spiced pears.
Ew.
While it is lesser used, it is a uniquely wonderful dish for Mabon, and it is a slightly healthier alternative to some of the heavier desserts.
I don't like pears.
They're all right. I don't have anything against pears. We haven't like fought or anything.
I see people do like pears, like they'll have pears and put like cheese.
Ooh, I've seen that.
I think TJ's family does that.
Ugh.
Not a fan.
Y'all nasty.
I don't eat it. I don't have to eat it, but whatever. I love this time of year, all the spiced things.
Well, that's what I have.
Well, that was a good one.
Yeah, it was a good episode.
Willow now farted. She's awake.
Yeah, Willow farted.
She's going back to sleep. She's so cute.
It went. I was like, what was that? Because normally, like, when cats fart, because they don't have butt cheeks, you can't hear it. So it must have been, like, her positioning. I don't know. It's just...
Is that what makes the noise? No, because, like, even if you spread your butt cheeks when you fart, it still makes noise.
Yeah, but, like,
It's the way it comes out your hole.
I don't know. That's just what I've always heard, is it because cats don't have butt cheeks, it doesn't make any noise.
I mean, dogs don't have butt cheeks, but they have very audible farts.
I don't know. It cracks me up that Louie, he'll just go burp. He'll burp. And it is the weirdest thing. And then he'll want to put his mouth on you. And I'm like, no, you just burped.
You nasty.
Get away from me.
You nasty. So what are you looking forward to this fall?
This fall? Cooler weather.
Well, yes, that's a given.
I don't know. I'm getting my house like into like a cozy mode already. So I really just want to, like, my goal is to like not be going out and spending so much money. So I want to like stay home and be cozy and read books and stuff, because like I've got all these books.
So many books.
And
have you read them all?
I've not all of them, but a good chunk of them. Like, a lot of these have been added since we started this podcast for research, so yeah. I haven't read those, but I also got some new books today. I got the Laura Cleary book.
Nice.
And then I got An Authenticated History of the Famous Bell Witch.
Nice.
It was $5.
Did you purchase these today?
I did.
I saw these earlier. So she's got cassette tapes.
Yeah.
All of you youngins that might be listening to this don't know what those are.
Well, hey, Taylor Swift sells cassette tapes.
Still?
Yeah.
Yes. But it's LeAnn Rimes, How Do I Live?
Yeah.
And Shania Twain, Come On Over.
Guess how much I paid for those?
Probably 2 cents a piece.
$0.25 a piece.
Man.
But I got a boombox down there from work. And Danny goes, did you, because I asked him, I said, can I take this? I was like, and he goes, why are you asking? I said, I feel like I should, because usually I just take stuff. And I was like, he's like, I don't care. And then we get home and he goes, what did you want that for? He's like, is it just for nostalgia? Or do you actually want to use it? I was like, I actually want to use it. I was like, I've got like a Sierra Farrell CD that I bought off her website that I haven't listened to yet because I don't have like a radio. I just have my laptop, and that's no fun. That takes the fun out of it. I was like, so there we go. And then we were upstairs because I was looking at records at McKay's, and we went all the way around, and I didn't realize they sold cassette tapes. But I get nervous up there because it's so high up in the air, and so like I get, and it's not very wide, and so I get like super nervous and start just sweating buckets. And I was like, oh, we gotta go downstairs.
Well, I forgot some of these songs existed, like Shania Twain, Love Gets Me Every Time, and Don't Be Stupid.
Don't be stupid.
You know I love you. Don't be ridiculous.
You know I need you.
Don't be absurd. Don't be impossible.
We're going to get copyright strike. This episode's going to be taken down.
Probably. Anyway, Well, I'm excited. I mean, mainly because it's spooky season. This is when I feel like the most
Oh, I
myself.
know 2 things I'm looking forward to.
Is one of those my Halloween party?
Yes, obviously.
Obviously.
And the second is I'm going. I've got tickets for Spirit,
Yeah.
the part of the Bell Witch Festival, and then we reserved our seats for Red River Tales. Those
Nice.
are free. Those are free. Danny was like, because last week I was like struggling for some money, and then he gets the email that I had reserved those tickets, and he goes, "Oh, she said she didn't have any money." I said they were free. I didn't have to pay for it.
Free 99.
Right. I was like, but they do request that you reserve seats. So I haven't gotten tickets for Smoke yet, but I've got tickets for Spirit.
Nice.
If you've never seen it and you're local, I would highly recommend. I'll share a link to our Facebook page or something. If the tickets aren't sold out by the time this episode goes out, I might go ahead and do it. Because this episode will go out when we're like, well, you might have already missed the Smoke series.
Right.
So I'll probably go ahead and put it up. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to the Halloween party.
Send us costume ideas, guys.
Yeah.
I'm struggling with that this year.
I'm digging on the Marianne and Wanda.
Yeah.
Yeah. Danny said he'll dress up as Earl and carry around a can of black-eyed peas.
Those black-eyed peas.
So,
I like it. Well, I'm tasked with the nonprofit for the week. But I decided, instead of telling you about a nonprofit this time, I want to revisit an old idea. Being that school is officially, bless you,
thank you.
Being that school has officially started, is in full swing, all that. I've mentioned on a previous episode that they asking for all the monies. They trying to take your monies.
Yeah.
Donate to your schools. Call your local school board.
Yeah. Or if you're friends with a teacher.
Yeah.
I'm friends with a teacher.
Donate school supplies, resources, books for the libraries.
Yeah.
Or you can just donate money for school lunches.
Yeah.
That's kind of a big thing. Some of the kids don't get a hot meal anywhere other than school.
Our school system doesn't do free lunches.
Right. Our school system doesn't do free lunch and breakfast anymore. You have the option to fill out a form at the beginning of the school year that will, qualify you for
either
free
reduced
or reduced lunches, but not everyone qualifies for those.
Right.
Even though they may really need it.
Right.
They may make just over the threshold.
Yeah. Well, I saw a TikTok the other day of a lady who was like, her food stamps got cut off because she made like $15 over.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and she's got like 4 or 5 kids to feed.
That's ridiculous. But donate to your schools, guys. If you have kids that are in schools and you guys utilize some type of portal system online where you pay for lunches or whatever, what have you, there is usually an option. I think it's called Pay It Forward, where you can, donate money for lunches where they need it, where they see it needs to be put toward.
Yeah.
Or just reach out to the school itself, school board, the actual school, a teacher, and see what they need. That's always super helpful because a lot of these teachers are having to pay out of their own pockets for their resources and supplies and things for the kids, for the classes.
And keep that in mind too for like later in the school year, because by the end of the school year they're running out of their supplies and the schools can't afford to give them more.
I don't understand how a kid can go through so many pencils in a year.
Well, I saw a lady, she said, break my off-brand pencils, I don't care, but you break one of my brand new pre-sharpened, is it Saratoga or whatever that
Ticonderoga or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. She's like, we're taping them back together.
Yeah. Crayons are a big need too.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm not one that's going to tell you, that generic brand is shit,
if that's all you can afford,
that's fine. But if you're gonna splurge,
yeah, make sure you get name brand.
get Crayola.
Yeah.
This is non-sponsored, but like my kids are not picky about brand name stuff.
Yeah.
But my middle child looked at me when we were buying school supplies and said, "Mom, please do not get me the cheap crayons. Please get me the Crayola ones because they are far superior. Just in the they don't break as easily." But yeah, donate to your teachers, donate to your schools, whatever you can do to help.
Yeah.
A lot of schools will be running fall festivals soon.
Yeah.
Donate stuff to that, be it baked goods or
gift
baskets or
I was gonna
whatever.
say, or if you own a small business, put together a gift basket for that.
It's always helpful, always needed.
Yeah.
But all right, guys. Well, this week, who are we telling?
We are telling your
Local vet,
so
they can help your gassy cat.
Yeah.
She's
just sleeping away, like
she's
not
out.
a care in the world, like she ain't making this room all stuffy.
Tell your local vet.
Ruining the vibe in here.
It's all right. I've been farting too. Y'all just didn't hear it.
They're trying to kill me.
Send help.
Send help. SOS.
SOS. But while you're telling your vet, make sure that you take a stroll on out to our Facebook,
Instagram,
TikTok,
X.
Email us at wanderersofweird@
gmail.com.
Send us your spooky stories.
Yeah, really.
Let us know what state you're in.
Yeah, for sure. If you have a particular experience in your particular state,
Or even if it is another state.
yeah, or if it is another state, or just tell us where the experience occurred
Specifically. Don't just say, I was at a cemetery in Tennessee.
Yeah.
There's only 55,000
Right.
of those. I heard a cemetery referred to as a body garden not too long ago, and that threw me for a loop.
I've heard that before.
I had never, but I like it, and from here forward, that is what they will be called.
Yeah.
Body gardens. I like it.
Anyway, I think that's all we got this week.
Well, we appreciate you guys.
Yep.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Okay, bye.